They don't attack you because you're weak. They attack because you look like you won't fight back. Ever notice someone disappear without warning, without noise, and suddenly the people who once ignored them start speaking their name with respect? It wasn't power that made them visible. It was their disappearance. They stopped leaking pain, stopped explaining, stopped giving access to the parts of themselves that no one ever truly protected. In this world, truth doesn't define your worth. Visibility does. You can be drowning inside, loyal, sincere, shattered. But if the world sees your wounds, they don't offer a hand. They sharpen the knife. This is the silent rule no one prepares you for. You don't need to be strong. You just need to be unreadable. The moment they can predict your pain, they will use it. Not because they're evil, but because weakness invites leverage. Machiavelli understood this 500 years ago. He didn't write to comfort the broken. He wrote to teach them how to disappear and return as something untouchable. Untouchable isn't cruel. It's contained. It's not heartless. It's strategically hidden. It's not cold. It's calm, colder than steel. The untouchable don't give explanations. They give signals. They move in silence, watching with precision. They don't beg to be seen because their absence speaks louder than their presence ever did. If you've been dismissed, misread, underestimated, this video isn't just a monologue. It's a weapon. A manual for those done bleeding in the open. Now I ask you, are you ready to step into the shadows where power isn't something you shout, but something they feel when you enter the room? If the answer is yes, don't speak, just stay. Because from this moment on, we don't explain pain. We turn it into power. First step, the hidden pain. You weren't born fragile. You were trained to bleed in public. And worse, trained to believe that bleeding made you noble. They told you, open your heart, they'll protect it. Stay long enough, they'll see your worth. Give more and they'll love you right. But what actually happened? You exposed your fears, confessed your confusion, stayed even when it broke you, and they used every soft part of you against you. You became readable, reachable, manipulable. In a world ruled not by poetry but by power, you weren't honored for your honesty. You were punished for it. The truth is, they don't destroy you by accident. They destroy you because you showed them where to aim. You shrank yourself, apologized for existing, tried to become smaller, softer, easier to love, hoping someone would notice the sacrifice, but they didn't. They adjusted. They learned that your silence wasn't strength, it was surrender. They learned your kindness wasn't a boundary, it was access. And every time you called it love, what you really meant was, I'll keep bleeding if it means you'll stay. That pain you carry, the one you never speak of, isn't weakness. It's the scar of being open in a world that feeds off the open-hearted. You confused pain with purpose, survival with loyalty, suffering with goodness. But being good in the wrong environment is the fastest way to be broken. People don't always value how deeply you feel. They value how easily they can bend that feeling to their will. Let that sink in. You're not being broken because you're too emotional. You're being broken because you keep offering yourself as a target. The question isn't, why do they do this to me? It's, why do I keep handing myself over to people who never learned how to hold me? Step 2. Understanding the deeper mechanism. Why do they hurt you when you finally open up? Why do they grow distant the moment you let your guard down? Why does vulnerability, something sacred and human, often become the very reason they walk away? Here's the answer no one dares admit. We don't live in a world that protects emotional truth. We live in a world that profits from exposing it. From the moment you could speak, they told you to express yourself, speak your truth, be real. But what they didn't teach was how to protect that truth once exposed. You learned to share your dreams. They learned to mock them. You learned to admit fear. They learned to push on it. You believed honesty would bring you closer. They used it to keep you beneath them. And eventually you internalized the most dangerous lesson of all. Love means tolerating pain. Kindness means bending until you vanish. Strength means staying quiet while being broken. But this isn't your fault. You're not broken. You're trapped inside a psychological system that rewards control and punishes openness. Let's be blunt. Every environment you enter, family, career, romance, friendship, has an unspoken power structure. And in that structure, your feelings don't define your status. Your emotional availability does. Every time you overshare, over-explain, over-apologize, you signal one thing. I can be studied. I can be used. And what's fully available rarely feels valuable. People chase what they don't fully understand. They respect what they can't easily reach. They desire what remains just beyond their grasp. When you hand over your heart intact, unguarded, complete, they don't hold it. They test it. They press on it. They ask, how far can I go before they break? In their world, testing you gives them power. Watching you stay gives them leverage. Your openness becomes their blueprint. Your pain becomes their control panel. The more they know about how you think, what you fear, what wounds you, the easier it is to steer you without force. Finally, developing the untouchable mindset. This is where the untouchable mindset begins. It's not about becoming fake. It's about becoming precise, learning the art of presence without exposure, showing strength without invitation, becoming a storm they can feel but never predict. That is why we built this channel. Not to entertain you, not to offer comfort, but to arm you. To turn pain into power, to turn your silence into sharpness, to teach you what they never wanted you to learn. When you become unreadable, you become untouchable, and that is the power you need to claim. If this has struck a nerve, support this mission. It helps us create more content like this, cinematic, tactical, and brutally real. Like the video, subscribe, and share it with someone who still bleeds in front of those who keep sharpening the blade. This isn't content, it's armor.